Today we'll be going over how the shaft travel on a Honeywell Modutrol IV motor changes when you change it from 90 degrees to 160 degrees. So inside the motor is a potentiometer that you can adjust the shaft travel degrees anywhere between 90 degrees and 160 degrees on this style of motor. So right now we have the shaft at 90 degree travel, and we have on this indicator, and this is the non-power end. This is the power end. So we're going to actually be opposite of the normal, what you would see on a motor, but this is the second side of the shaft. We're all the way in the closed position of the motor. Since we're on the non-power end of the motor, the closed position is all the way clockwise, and then the motor is going to open or drive counterclockwise. That is going to obviously be opposite for the power end, in which most people talk about. We're going to drive the motor open, and we're starting at 0, and we're going to drive it 90 degrees. And this is going to take 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds, 90 degrees. So that's 90 degrees of travel between 0, which is all the way closed, and 90, which is all the way open. Now, if we want to adjust the potentiometer to a full 160 degrees, the full travel is going to take 60 seconds. All right, so now we have the motor at 0, and now we're going to change the potentiometer to 160 degrees. The potentiometer is here on the board. You're going to use a 1/8 inch screwdriver, and you're going to spin it all the way in the clockwise direction. We can now see that the motor is turning beyond 0 degrees. A common misconception is that the motor is going to add all the travel at the end of 90 and just add the extra 70 degrees at the end. That is not the case. The motor splits the addition of the travel between the 0 part and the 90 part. So we're going to add 35 degrees here and 35 degrees here for a full 160 degrees. Now, even though we're only adding 70 degrees to the travel in the motor is going to take double the amount of time that it does to travel 90. For a full 160 degrees of travel, it is going to take 60 seconds. All right, as we can see, we have an extra 35 degrees here past the normal 90 degree mark. And if we were to now adjust the potentiometer back, so we adjusted it all the way counterclockwise, which is going to be 90 degrees of travel for the full stroke. We will see now that the shaft returns to the maximum position of 90 degrees. A common error that newer service techs make on burner linkage travel is that the linkage is not traveling all the way that it needs to, and service techs think that they can just adjust the range of the modulation motor and that will fix the travel. Now, if you are anywhere in between on the range, so say if you are, say at 80 degrees or even 90 degrees at full stroke. If you're at full stroke and your cam on your linkage is not all the way to the maximum position, or you need more fuel or you need more air, a lot of newer service techs will adjust the position and think that they can just get an extra 5 to 10 degrees of travel out of the motor. And while that will work and it will add 5 to 10 degrees of travel at the end of the motor, that also adds 5 to 10 degrees of travel at the 0 part of the shaft of the motor. So now when your burner modulates to low fire, it's going to go to 0 and then keep going past it, which will end up binding up the linkage. If you're having issues with linkage travel, you need to actually adjust the mechanics of the linkage and not adjust the travel of the motor, unless the burner is rated specifically to have a motor that travels greater than 90 degrees. But most linkage burners use the 90 degree travel on the Honeywell modulation motor.